Jace stomped through the maintenance bay, cursing at the blinking consoles. "How do you lose a power relay in a room the size of a moon?" he muttered, dodging a coil of glowing conduits. The air hummed with warmth, thick with the scent of charged metal. He wiped his forehead, thinking humans were always too weak for alien engineering. This place smelled like someone had microwaved lightning. A heavy thump echoed across the bay. Jace froze. "Great, someone's trapped under machinery again," he muttered. He edged forward, squinting at the glow bouncing off polished surfaces. A low, rhythmic hum vibrated in his chest, almost musical. His heart beat faster. "Or maybe not machinery," he whispered, taking a cautious step. He rounded a massive biofusion engine and froze. There she was, unclothed, muscles rippling under faintly glowing skin, her body perfectly aligned with the pulsing machinery. Her hands moved with precision over the conduits, skin touching metal, conducting energy in a way no human could. She was calibrating, adjusting, shifting. She didn't notice him. Jace's mouth went dry. Hello." His voice cracked. His brain short-circuited. The first thing he noticed wasn't her skin or the alien glow, it was the rhythm, the way she moved, how her arms flexed with every adjustment. He felt entirely inadequate. She finally glanced at him, tilting her head like she was inspecting a curious insect. "Human Jace," she said. "You appear tense. Is your exoshell overheating? You are leaking heat from your face again." "Exo what?" Jace stammered, glancing down at his own clothes, suddenly aware of how flimsy they felt. No, I'm fine." He shuffled awkwardly, hands instinctively rubbing the back of his neck. She laughed, a melodic, vibrating sound. "Humans are amusing. You restrict yourself with coverings while your skin struggles to conduct even basic warmth." She gestured at him with a delicate hand. "Remove them. Experience efficiency." Jace froze. Experience what now? The double meaning in her words hit him full force, and he backed up instinctively. His foot caught a loose cable and he stumbled, nearly tripping over a glowing panel. "Okay. Efficiency, got it. Totally, not what I meant." Her eyes narrowed with curiosity. "You move oddly. Grip strength insufficient." She reached out, lightly touching his arm. Jace yelped, almost jumping out of his own boot. She tilted her head, clearly analyzing him, not realizing the human embarrassment brewing. "Hold the tool," she commanded, motioning to a glowing rod resting on the machine. "Steady the rod. Apply pressure slowly." Jace obeyed, hands shaking, wondering if she was speaking about the machinery or something else entirely. The machine pulsed again. Sparks danced along the conduits, a soft vibration running up Jace's arms. He panicked. "Is this normal?" The alien's expression flickered between concern and something else he couldn't place. "You humans are unpredictable," she said, circling him. "Your movements are inefficient but surprisingly resilient." She stopped behind him and adjusted his grip on the rod, pressing her hands over his in a guiding motion. Jace's mind short-circuited again. "Guiding motion," she said, and he was fairly certain she didn't realize how provocative that sounded. The engine hummed louder, vibrating against their combined touch. She tilted her head, impressed. "Your reflexes are admirable for a species of limited musculature. You may assist me further." Jace swallowed. "Assist. Right, how?" He glanced at her again. The way she shifted, bending over the glowing engine, made him hyper-aware of every awkward human flaw he possessed. He knew he had no business being here, no business interacting with a being this powerful, this confident, this unrestrained. The machine shuddered. A pulse of energy knocked her off balance. Jace dove instinctively, catching her arm mid-air. "Whoa!" he exclaimed, heart hammering. She blinked, surprised, gripping his wrist with unexpected strength. "Human, your reaction is rapid. Your species may be stronger than expected." Thanks," Jace muttered, trying not to blush as her body pressed closer than necessary. Her grip was firm, controlled, unnervingly intimate in its precision. "You will assist me in calibration," she said simply, guiding him toward the center of the bay. Her hands rested over his as they both moved the glowing rod, forcing perfect synchronization. Jace's mind screamed at him, "Stay professional, don't embarrass yourself," and yet every line she uttered, "Steady, apply slowly, feel the pulse," felt like a teasing challenge he couldn't interpret. She leaned close, inspecting the glowing conduits as he adjusted them under her guidance. "Your species' intuition is unusual. You apply concepts we did not anticipate. You may be compatible as an assistant. Physically. Mentally. Perhaps biologically." Jace choked on a laugh. "Compatible? Biologically? Wait, hold on." He stopped mid-sentence as the machine pulsed violently, energy crackling around their synchronized hands. The vibrations shook the bay. "You are quick to adapt," she said approvingly, her hand brushing against his again to stabilize the rod. "Most of my kind would have faltered. You excel despite limitations." Jace's head spun. Limitations? Definitely. Excellence? Debatable. He couldn't believe this was happening. He was a human, small and weak compared to this alien goddess, yet somehow she considered him impressive. The engine stuttered, but Jace instinctively pushed harder, adjusting the rod with raw human improvisation. Sparks flew along the conduit. She froze, eyes wide. "You may have saved the calibration." Jace wiped sweat from his brow. "Saved the, yeah. Totally saved it." His voice cracked. "And, not the other stuff." She tilted her head, smiling faintly. "Humans are amusing, resourceful, and unexpectedly vigorous. You will assist me in all future calibrations. I claim you as my co-mechanic." Jace blinked. "Co-mechanic? Wait, do you mean like the job, or…" She waved a dismissive hand, already moving toward the next panel. "Mechanically. Professionally. And perhaps in ways you will discover." Jace gulped. The biofusion engine pulsed between them. Sparks of light, the hum of power, the heat of alien energy, and the lingering thought of her body pressed so close, all combined into one overwhelming reality. He had just discovered that being a human had never been so dangerously intriguing. Jace followed her deeper into the bay, every step a mix of awe and panic. The air shimmered with heat from the biofusion conduits, and his nerves were frayed from the constant close contact. He glanced at her hands again, glowing lines tracing her fingers as she manipulated the machinery like it was an extension of herself. Every motion screamed competence and, unintentionally, provocation. "You humans are fascinating," she said, adjusting a pulsing rod. "You overcomplicate everything yet somehow succeed." Her eyes flicked to his, as if measuring the depth of his comprehension, or maybe something else. Jace swallowed. "Thanks? I mostly succeed by accident." She laughed, the sound vibrating in the metal bay. "Your species' humility is curious. Do you always downplay your usefulness?" She moved closer, nudging his elbow gently. "Hold the rod. Apply even pressure. Slow. Perfect." Her phrasing made him freeze. "Even pressure, slow, perfect?" he repeated under his breath, trying to mentally disentangle machinery instructions from everything else. He gripped the rod, hands shaking. Sparks danced along the bioconduits as her own hands guided his. "Steady," she said, leaning so close he could feel the heat radiating from her body. "Do not falter. Match my rhythm." The double meaning hit him like a shockwave. Match the rhythm? "Okay, machine rhythm, got it," he muttered, eyes darting to the pulsing rods instead of her face. The engine shuddered, pulsing violently, making the entire bay vibrate. Jace jumped instinctively, losing grip, and she caught his wrists with ease. "Your reflexes, not bad for a soft species," she remarked, eyes flicking over his arms. "Strength, adequate. Coordination, surprisingly intuitive." He coughed. "Soft species, right? Totally soft. Mentally and physically." He trailed off, blushing. She tilted her head. Your thinking is peculiar. You humans improvise in ways that defy expectation. She nudged a control panel, and sparks arced dangerously. Observe. Sometimes simplicity is superior. She stepped back, and Jace, trembling slightly, recognized an opportunity. Using a human trick, he grabbed a simple support rod, wedged it between two conduits, and redirected the energy pulse safely away from the main engine. Her jaw dropped. You improvised. Human style. Efficient and effective. She took a step closer, brushing her fingers against his shoulder. I must admit, your unpredictability is intriguing. Jace swallowed. Unpredictable? That's one word for it. A sudden surge made the engine groan. Sparks flew, and a hot pulse knocked her off balance. Without thinking, he lunged and caught her again, their faces almost brushing. She blinked, surprised. Human Jace, your timing precise. Coordination, better than expected. She let go, hands hovering near his for a second longer than necessary. Thanks, he said, trying to regain composure. I just have good reflexes. He realized how ridiculous it sounded, even to himself, as she tilted her head, clearly analyzing him with a mix of curiosity and admiration. You must assist me fully, she declared, guiding him to a pulsating control panel. Your species' methods, unconventional yet effective. You may be compatible as a cooperator. The wording made Jace choke internally. Compatible? Cooperator? Totally professional, right? She adjusted his grip on the rod again. Align with me. Synchronize pressure. Maintain stability. Do not falter. Excellent. Every instruction carried double weight, and every accidental touch was amplified by the energy humming between them. Jace's brain short-circuited repeatedly. A pulse shuddered through the engine. The bay shook, lights flickering. She leaned in, whispering almost conspiratorially, human ingenuity, impressive. Your species' simplicity sometimes overcomes complex systems. Fascinating. She tapped his hand lightly against the rod. Steady, now apply slow, firm pressure. He blinked, desperately focusing on the machinery, mentally chanting, It's just engineering, it's just engineering. The engine's pulse stabilized slightly, and she stepped back, brushing her fingertips across his arms again. Remarkable. Humans can think in ways Valari cannot. You are resourceful, adaptable, and surprisingly vigorous. Jace flushed crimson. Vigorous, for the machine, yeah. Totally for the machine. The engine emitted a high-pitched hum, warning of instability. Another surge, she said calmly, eyes locking on his. You must match my pace. Synchronize fully. Her tone left no room for argument, yet every word dripped with unintended suggestion. He took a deep breath, focusing on the pulsing rod. Every muscle tensed, every reflex engaged. Sparks danced dangerously, but Jace adjusted with a combination of instinct and intuition, finding a rhythm that the alien had not predicted. The engine steadied. Her expression softened. You adapt with courage. Valari males would fail at this. Human, you possess qualities worthy of admiration. She circled him slowly, her gaze scanning every inch of his form with clinical precision. Your hands effective. Your strength more than adequate. Your thinking unparalleled in its simplicity. Thank you? I think. Jace muttered, wiping sweat from his brow. His face burned hotter than the conduit. Every compliment felt like a mix of professional praise and personal evaluation. She stepped closer again, brushing his shoulder. You will remain with me. All calibrations. All machinery. You will learn intimately with every tool, every pulse, every rhythm. Jace froze. Intimately? Tools? Wait, Her lips quirked with a small smile. Our synchronization is essential. Valari appreciate precision. You may also appreciate connection. Her hand lingered over his again as she tapped the rod, demonstrating exactly how pressure should be applied. He shook his head, trying to clear it. Connection, Yes, machinery connection, absolutely. The engine pulsed again, and Jace realized he was already enmeshed in a situation far beyond anything he expected from a simple repair job. She stepped back slightly, inspecting him with a mixture of amusement and approval. You are human. Small, soft, yet remarkable. I claim you as my co-mechanic. Professionally. Mechanically. Potentially biologically. Jace coughed, feeling heat rising to his ears. Co-mechanic biologically, right. Totally professional first. His fingers hovered over the rod, heart hammering, mind scrambling for any human excuse. She turned her attention back to the glowing engine, humming softly. We begin now. Synchronize fully. Learn, adapt, survive. Your species may be more capable than I expected. Jace exhaled slowly, gripping the rod with renewed determination. He might be a human in a sea of alien expertise, but in this moment, his instincts, reflexes, and unexpected intuition made him indispensable. And somehow dangerously, irresistibly involved. The engine pulsed violently, shaking the bay like a living creature. Sparks leapt along the conduits, and Jace gritted his teeth. She leaned close, adjusting his hands with a precision that left no room for error, and no room for human composure. Match my rhythm. Do not falter. Synchronize fully, she commanded, eyes scanning his every movement. Jace swallowed hard. Rhythm, right. Totally mechanical, just mechanical, he muttered under his breath, trying to block the heat creeping up his neck. Every instruction dripped with double meaning. Do not falter, she said again, and Jace realized that his heartbeat might be betraying him more than the machinery ever could. The engine shuddered, glowing brighter with each pulse. He adjusted the rod, leaning over to align the conduits, and she stepped closer behind him, brushing against his arm. Your species' coordination is unpredictable yet effective, she murmured, the words vibrating through him. He froze, every muscle tensing. Unpredictable, effective, yeah, for the machine. A sudden surge rattled the bay. Sparks flew in a brilliant arc. Jace reacted instinctively, throwing his body forward and pressing the rod against the conduit just as she had instructed. Their hands met on the metal, fingers brushing in synchronization. Excellent, she breathed. You adapt swiftly. Your improvisation, pleasing. Pleasing, right for the system, Jace muttered, heart hammering. He kept his eyes on the glowing machinery, but his mind was a chaotic mess of embarrassment, exhilaration, and adrenaline. Her body pressed closer as she guided his movements, teaching him the precise amount of pressure, the subtle adjustments, the correct tempo. Every direction sounded like an innuendo, and Jace could barely process it while keeping the engine stable. The pulse of the biofusion core surged again, louder, more insistent. She leaned close, whispering instructions directly into his ear. Apply pressure, slow, steady, yes, perfect. The vibration traveled up his arms. Jace stammered, slow, perfect, got it, mechanical. He could barely keep the words mechanical, and the flush creeping up his neck betrayed him. She watched him carefully, noting every slight hesitation and tremor. Your species is intriguing. Humans improvise, adapt, and survive in ways my people do not anticipate. Your strength unexpected. Your timing precise. She adjusted his hands on the rod once more, letting their fingers linger together. You may be compatible as my cooperator. Compatible. Right, cooperator, totally professional, Jace stammered, trying to steady the rod while keeping from hyperventilating. Sparks danced along the conduits, and the core shuddered like it had a mind of its own. She circled him slowly, eyes lingering on his form. Your human body, efficient and vigorous. Your reflexes, admirable. Your mind, clever beyond expectation. The engine emitted a high-pitched warning hum. Another surge, she said calmly, brushing his arm again to stabilize his grip. We must match perfectly. Synchronize fully. Do not hesitate. Do not falter. Her proximity was overwhelming. Jace's breathing quickened. Synchronize fully, don't falter, got it. He concentrated, focusing all energy on the pulsing rods. He pushed the rod with all his might, adjusting the conduits with instinctual precision. Sparks flew, arcs of energy skimming dangerously close. She pressed against him lightly, murmuring, steady, firm, slower, perfect. Each phrase made his head spin. Focus, just the machine, the machine. He gritted his teeth, forcing his body to obey her rhythm. The core shuddered violently. Faster, no, slower, perfect, match my pace. Her hands guided his, brushing against his fingers, and he felt a pulse of electricity, not from the engine, but from her presence. He adjusted, readjusted, and finally found the perfect alignment. The engine stabilized, the glow softening to a steady hum. She stepped back slightly, circling him like a predator assessing its prey, though her expression held admiration rather than menace. Remarkable. You adapt, improvise, and survive. Valari males would fail. You excel beyond expectation. Her hand brushed his shoulder again. Your coordination unexpectedly pleasing. Your intellect superior in simplicity. Your reflexes invigorating. Jace's face burned. Thanks. I mean all mechanical, yes, mechanical only. His hands trembled slightly as the adrenaline faded, but the engine remained stable. Humans are unusual, she continued, stepping closer, close enough for him to feel the heat radiating from her. Your species' unpredictability, dangerous and captivating. You respond to rhythm, pressure, force with admirable instinct. You may become my co-mechanic in all aspects. Co-mechanic, right in all mechanical ways, Jace muttered, sweating and trying to focus on the rods. Sparks leapt dangerously close again, and he adjusted instinctively, saving the system from another surge. Her eyes widened, impressed. Yes. You understand intuitively. My people rarely encounter such capability. She circled him once more, her glowing skin close to his, observing every movement. You saved the calibration, but also, you are fascinating. My species values strength, cleverness, and adaptability. You possess all three. Humans may be small and soft, yet extraordinary. Jace swallowed hard. Extraordinary, small and soft, right, mechanical, focus, every word felt like a lie, yet also somehow true. He was exhausted, exhilarated, and completely flustered. The engine pulsed one final time, stabilizing fully. She stepped back, brushing lightly against his arm. You have earned my respect, human Jace. You are my co-mechanic. Professionally, mechanically, potentially biologically. Jace blinked, heat rising to his ears. Professionally, right, mechanical, potentially, biologically, yes. His words faltered as her gaze pinned him in place, intense and unreadable. She smiled faintly. Prepare for future calibrations. You will learn the rhythm, the pressure, and the pulse. You are indispensable. Jace exhaled slowly, gripping the rod with a mixture of pride, relief, and sheer terror. He was human, small and clumsy in a universe of aliens, yet he had just proven himself, admirably, dangerously, and in ways that made him hyper-aware of every brush of her hand and every double-meaning phrase she uttered. And somehow, inexplicably, he found himself looking forward to the next surge. The engine hummed steadily, its glow bathing the maintenance bay in a soft, pulsating light. Jace exhaled, finally allowing himself a fraction of relief, though his nerves were still wired from the last surge. She stepped closer, her presence overwhelming, the subtle heat radiating from her body leaving him acutely aware of every inch of proximity. You are impressive, human, she said, brushing a finger along his shoulder in a motion that was entirely technical, yet entirely suggestive. Your strength, reflexes, and adaptability rare among your species. Most humans would have faltered long ago. Jace swallowed hard. Thanks, mostly mechanical, he muttered, trying to ground himself in the tangible task of the rods and conduits. She tilted her head, observing him with a critical yet approving gaze. You will remain with me. All calibrations, all machinery. You will learn intimately with every tool, every pulse, every rhythm. Her words carried a double meaning that made his stomach clench and his mind reel. Intimately with the tools, right, absolutely, professional only. He tried to focus on the glowing conduits, but every movement of hers seemed calculated to distract him. Jace adjusted the rod one last time, hands trembling slightly from the adrenaline. She circled him slowly, analyzing his posture, the grip of his fingers, the tension in his shoulders. Your coordination, unexpectedly pleasing. Your problem-solving, superior in its simplicity. You may become my co-mechanic. Co-mechanic, right, mechanical, yes, Jace stammered, sweat beading on his forehead. Her proximity, the hum of the engine, and the unintended innuendos of every command left him mentally juggling professional focus and personal awareness. She stepped closer again, tapping the rod against the pulsing conduit. Feel the pulse? This is the rhythm we will maintain. Together. Her hands hovered over his once more, guiding them with a touch both firm and intimate. Jace's pulse quickened. Together, right, mechanical pulse, yes. He forced himself to focus, though the meaning behind her phrasing threatened to derail his concentration. The alien smiled faintly. Your species' unpredictability, dangerous and captivating. You respond to rhythm, pressure, and force with admirable instinct. Humans may be small and soft, yet you are extraordinary. Jace coughed, nearly dropping the rod. Extraordinary, small and soft, yes, mechanical only. She leaned slightly closer, her voice dropping to a whisper. Prepare for all future calibrations. You will learn the rhythm, the pressure, and the pulse. You are indispensable. Her words wrapped around him like the hum of the engine itself. Jace felt simultaneously terrified, exhilarated, and utterly captivated. He tried to straighten, to regain some semblance of composure. Indispensable, right. Mechanical only. His voice faltered, betraying both exhaustion and the lingering heat of their proximity. Do not falter, she said softly, brushing her fingers across his arm to adjust his grip. You have earned my respect, human Jace. You are my co-mechanic. Professionally, mechanically, potentially biologically. The final word hung in the air, dripping with implication. Jace blinked, unsure whether to laugh, protest, or faint. Potentially, biologically, right, mechanical first, he muttered, trying to ground himself in reason while every nerve screamed with awareness. She tilted her head, clearly noting his reaction with subtle amusement. She stepped back slightly, allowing him space, though her glow still dominated the bay. Humans are unusual, she said. Resourceful, adaptable, courageous, and yet delightfully unprepared for subtlety. Her eyes twinkled with something like mischief. I will teach you. You will learn my ways. You may even enjoy them. Jace wiped sweat from his brow. Enjoy, yes, mechanical enjoyment, pulse, right. He tried to steady the rod, but the lingering tension in the air made it impossible to fully separate thought from sensation. She moved alongside him, tapping the rod lightly, demonstrating precise control. Our tools are compatible. We work best when aligned. You kept pace perfectly. Every word was technical on the surface, yet every syllable vibrated with double meaning, making Jace's thoughts betray his training and instincts. Aligned pace, tools, got it, mechanical only, he repeated under his breath, grinning nervously. The pulsing light of the engine reflected off her skin, casting him in a glow that made the air feel thicker, warmer, and almost electric with tension. She glanced at him, head tilted, eyes calculating yet amused. Soon, perhaps in ways you do not yet understand. Her hand hovered near his wrist, guiding, steadying, insisting without command. Jace swallowed, caught between alarm and fascination. Not yet understand, right, mechanical pulse. The engine hummed steadily, a soft, persistent vibration echoing through the bay. It was a rhythm they shared now, a syncopated dance of human instinct and alien precision. She leaned close one last time, her voice low and deliberate. If anything overheats, we will cool it together. Jace exhaled, gripping the rod with renewed purpose, heart pounding, mind racing. He had survived, succeeded, and somehow found himself chosen. His human ingenuity had proven more than sufficient. His quick thinking had saved the core. And now he was bound to her, mechanically, professionally, and potentially biologically. A small smile crept onto his face. He was human, flawed, and entirely unprepared for this level of intensity. Yet, for the first time, he felt extraordinary. Perhaps small and soft, yes, but capable of brilliance, courage, and dangerously alluring synchronization with a being far beyond anything humanity had ever encountered. The engine pulsed steadily, and she smirked. Do you feel it, human Jace? Our rhythm, our connection. You are now mine, as co-mechanic. Jace nodded, gripping the rod, exhaling slowly, and realizing he didn't entirely mind.